Hey everyone, today I wanted to go over the new and extremely exciting news that we have for Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak on both the Nintendo Switch and on PC via Steam, since what we're going to be talking about entails the 4th free title update. And that is the fact that a brand new difficulty type of quest has become available that is essentially raising the difficulty tier or the threshold for sun monsters going forward. This would be the brand new quest types Hazard. Maybe some of you haven't necessarily paid attention, but every single quest has some sort of like word in front of it. Endurance, takedown, capture, whatever. The more recent ones we have seen have emergency. We discussed that in the previous video, where event quests at the back end of the base Monster Hunter Rise, and most recently now in Sunbreak on the 3rd free title update, we ended up getting an advanced Gauss Harag as part of the last event quest for the 3rd free title update. This was pretty much a really powerful version of a Gauss Harag being added in that is not applicable as an anomaly investigation monster. There's still the Gauss Harag anomaly investigation version, but that one is a little bit weaker than the most recently emergency Gauss Harag. And today what we're going to be checking out is this brand new Hazard version of a Lucent Nargacuga. This quest becomes unlockable after you take down Velkhana, so most likely most of you guys already have access to it. Maybe some of you have done it already, but you haven't necessarily paid attention to it. I've seen some people suggest this as a hidden monster. It's not. You just have to take down Velkhana to be able to have access to it. But once you do, you certainly want to be able to get your hands on this quest and take it down as best as possible, because this one is fascinating. So first and foremost, like I mentioned, it's going to be more difficult. Yes, that means higher damage, higher resistances. That means has, resistances to elements that you usually don't necessarily expect it to. Higher resistances to stun, para, all those kind of things. Also, plenty of more health. And you have to remember, Lucent Nargacuga is one of the 2 only monsters, Violet Mitsuzune being the second one, that do not have anomaly investigation versions. These are the only 2 monsters that appear in the arena and do not have an anomaly investigation as of right now. So the introduction of these hazard type difficulty event quests as just a base, part of the package of Monster Hunter Rise and Sunbreak, not necessarily part of an event quest, suggests going forward that this could be something that Capcom could be giving us as part of just higher difficulty. Not necessarily a monster that is going to ever get anomaly investigation, because again, it's only going to ever be stuck in the arena until further notice, but we now have an equivalent, if not much higher difficulty version of this monster that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with anomaly investigations, which is fascinating. So first and foremost, one of the things you might notice as you enter into the quest is that, of course, this one is going to be a big boy. He's relatively big. If you're crown chasing, this one is probably going to get you a crown, although I believe there was already a quest, an event quest that gave us a crown already. So if you don't have it, certainly you're going to want to take it down for those reasons. Now, with that said, one of the things you're also going to notice that it has a couple of new patterns of attacks, and some of those attacks are even sped up. Some of them are kind of like mixtures of previous attacks that are a little bit faster, but others are brand new. One of the ones you're going to notice is that one of the attacks that is going to do more often than the normal version of Lucent Nargacuga is the raining tail spikes. This time they're kind of falling across through an X pattern, and it has a triple tail slam, something that you probably necessarily didn't see it do before. I believe it was a double tail slam before. Now it has a triple one. It has a big wind up, which is a little bit faster. Previously it was a little bit slower. Now it's faster. It has invisible jumping and a huge tail slam pretty much right afterwards. So this one has, like, again, new moves you haven't necessarily seen before, but also moves that are sped up in just a way that you might get you a little bit confused if you're kind of used to hunting this monster already. One of the things you'll also notice is that the raining tail spikes, the poison area is much bigger. They seem like big pools of acid, kind of just like poison all over the place. Those are going to be much bigger as well. And the spread spike throw lands are pretty much like right in front of you, and they are going to be extremely dangerous. It's always putting poison right in front of them. So like you kind of need to steer away to the sides a little bit and not necessarily get caught up on that. Now, when it comes to attacks, the last thing that I certainly want to mention is that once it kind of hones in on a player, it's gonna do at the very least 2 separate combos on that hunter, one way or the other. So if you are having a little bit of a tough time, especially trying to solo this one, certainly bring in followers. You can do that, but do keep in mind that if you're doing it online and you see kind of someone being zeroed in a little bit, maybe use a healing or something like to kind of like help them out a little bit if you can. If you have the AoE heals option with the skills, certainly take advantage of that, because people are getting carded from this thing left and right. I've done this quest now multiple times. I've had a lot of fun with it, but I also see people getting carded with this one, no different than Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax, which that thing on its own, I certainly want to make a separate video and discuss them, just as like what an amazing fight that actually is. But I'm sure I wouldn't be the only one talking about that. Now, of course, this new hazard difficulty, not only does it bring, of course, a monster's stronger version of which we haven't seen before, we've powered up attacks, something of a new move, or if you will, and different attack patterns, but also, of course, we should be able to expect that Violet Mitsuzune should be able to get this upgraded hazard version in the future. If anything, I would have liked for Capcom to go ahead and make a big deal out of those quests, because it's kind of being buried at the back end of Velkhana and Risen Crimson Glow Valstrax, and chances are most people are not even paying attention that they have a brand new, really amazing hunt in their hands if they just choose to go and take care of it. And ultimately, I think is, you know, a great addition to it. Now, it does make me wonder what other monsters than the aforementioned, Violet Mitsuzune would be a great addition. I've seen some people suggest that this is their attempt to give us, again, an anomaly investigation version of these 2 monsters going forward. Maybe that is the way they'll ultimately end up doing it. I always kind of thought that they would give us a quest where these 2 monsters are finally unleashed from the arenas and they can actually roam about normally through, you know, just normal quests. But that doesn't necessarily seem to be the case. Maybe they are designed with arenas in mind. I'm not sure. I can't speak to that. I've also seen other people suggest that these are kind of like arc-tempered versions of these monsters. I'm not sure I'll sign up to that idea, but it sounds interesting and appealing nonetheless. So certainly a great addition if you want to look at that way. But also other monsters, I think all of the Risens getting some sort of, you know, hazard version of their own quests would be fantastic. Something that you might have already seen, and this is for the players who are farming Anomaly Investigations level 200 plus quests, is that like Kushala Daora, Teostra, and Chameleos have new moves as basically Anomaly Investigation monsters that do not have, those moves do not appear in their normal hunts. So they are certainly giving these monsters, which are already powerful enough as it is, new moves in their own way. But again, you have to hit certain parameters for that to be able to be the case, which does let me wonder, why are they putting in so much effort on these like really high difficult quests that, again, the vast majority of people are never going to be able to access. I've spoken multiple times about the grind to just hit cap Anomaly Investigation 200 on the last free title update, and how even I personally didn't want to invest the time to be able to do it. Now I am. I'm certainly making a couple of other videos and discussing a couple of things, faster leveling up, reasons for you to be able to upgrade your weapons and your armors and all those type of things. I'm working a couple of videos on that through the Anomaly Investigation research and leveling up and grinding. But at the same time, you know, it does make me wonder, just giving these monsters new moves, new attacks, new patterns, new ways to kind of be considered, maybe arch-tempered mini versions of themselves, Anomaly Investigations, pseudo versions of themselves, whatever the way you want to look at it, they're being powered up, but only, you know, a minority of the player base is ever going to be able to access these, much less actually celebrate them, because they are just, you know, so hard to be able to reach. These monsters are even harder to reach than just a Velkhana. That thing is Master Rank 10, I believe, to be able to unlock, so you're going to be able to get to it relatively fast, where these things, hazard level quests, are just going to require you to be north of 100, 150, since you have to put in the effort and time to be able to get. So it's just an interesting approach that Capcom is taking. I do wonder what the logic is at the end of the day, but of course, you know, it is what it is. Certainly a massively fun hunt that I would recommend everyone to go ahead and do. And it does paint a better picture for just more content coming down the road. You know, obviously those one-hit KO quests from backup generations ultimate. It certainly bring good memories in that regard, and we're gonna keep looking forward to see what more monsters get this hazard treatment going forward. But that's about all the information that I have for you guys today. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya.